welcome Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching Miss Marvel episode 4, which was an interesting one. So obviously full spoilers. So we start off right off the bat. We're just headed to Pakistan. We're just on the plane already, off of last episode where the grandma had called Kamala and said, "Hey, come to Pakistan. I saw that crazy train vision that you had." And the reason this is an interesting episode is because it feels like we find out a lot, and yet we don't seem to find out the information that was like kind of promised to us in the last episode. What I mean by that is they go to Pakistan, we meet her cousins, we meet her grandma, and we do get this really cool, like, full 10-15 minute sequence of like her just going through Pakistan, walking through the streets. And for someone like me who is not very familiar with the culture and Pakistan as a country, seeing all this, if nothing else, this show has been like educational. Like it feels like I am watching like a tourist documentary or something, saying like, here's Pakistan, here's what it's kind of like over here, like, so for if anything else, it's been educational for me. No, but we get over there, and throughout the episode we get a couple moments between Kamala's mom and the grandma. And we do get a couple moments between Kamala and the grandma herself, talking about the bangle and talking about like, oh yeah, you're a jinn. But I don't know, it feels like, what was up with the train, like, and she just recites the same story about like how, like, oh yeah, I was a little girl and I saw this trail of stars help me get back to my mom, the story that we've been told before. And that's really it. And I don't know, I guess I was just hoping that there would be more of a bigger revelation. And then later, Kamala ventures off and she gets attacked by this guy in a red scarf, and his name is the Red Dagger. That's like his like secret superhero vigilante name, right? And basically takes him back to their headquarters, and it turns out him and I think we only see like one other guy there, right? This older guy. And basically they're like, oh yeah, there's a whole generation of people who have been the Red Daggers, and we protect our people against threats from other realms like the Jinn, and they do have like a really cool hideout, and they have like this, I don't know exactly what it was, it's some kind of hologram technology, but it's like this thing that came out of the ground, and it kind of demonstrated how, like, the realm of the Jinn sits right on top of our world, and there's like a barrier. And that's what the Noor is, I guess. And that barrier is separating their world from our world. And if that gets broken, then their world will just completely take over ours, right? Which is essentially the big threat of like what the bad guys, will do. Like, so before this point, we thought the big threat was just that, like, oh, well, it'll use a whole bunch of energy trying to open a portal to another dimension. That's dangerous. But now the big threat is, oh, it's literally a barrier, and their world will take over our world if that barrier comes down. Now we know like what the actual problem is if they are able to do this. And yeah, this whole group, this Red Dagger group, I don't know. It feels like we're introduced to them really, really quickly, and then almost immediately they get attacked and their headquarters is destroyed, and the older guy that was explaining things to us is killed. And I don't know, it was just kind of funny how very sudden it was, of like, oh hey, we're a secret organization, oh we're all destroyed. I was like, oh, okay, I figured you'd last at least a full episode, but he didn't. Anyways, so now it's Kamala and this younger Red Dagger who she's fighting, and they have some pretty good banter. Some of it's pretty corny, but like they're teenagers, and it fits well with the rest of the show, as they're just going back and forth between, first they were fighting each other, now they're helping each other escape. It's some pretty fun moments in there. And I guess my other thing is that, like, speaking of them getting attacked, we get a sequence of them escaping from the Department of Damage Control, right? Like, they're all being led to their cells or whatever in this giant facility. And then they manage to escape, which, by the way, they leave behind, what's his name? The son, the cool kid in class that Kamala had a thing for. They leave him behind because, he tried to help Kamala. And so I don't know what's going to come of that. I assume he's still free, right? Because like they still all escape, so I assume that he can still escape the facility and follow them, you know. The only thing is, like, we see them escape that facility, which presumably is in America, right? Like, somewhere in New York. And then next thing we know, they're just crashing through the ceiling in this secret hideout in Pakistan. So it's like, how? What? It was just very sudden. I think that's my thing. Is that like so they escaped, got on a plane, found this secret hideout. How did they find this? I don't know. And then, you know, like, it was just like very sudden transition. Like, we're supposed to believe that they got on a plane and found the secret hideout within, I guess, 24 hours, I guess, you know, since they escaped, because Kamala's only been in Pakistan for like a day or two, right? Like, at the most. So I don't know. It was just very sudden things. Like the plot. I guess my thing is, a lot of stuff happened in this episode, and it feels like they were kind of hitting the fast forward button, because they're like, okay, we have to get, you know, we have plot points we want to hit, but we have to fast forward and get past all this real quick. So like, okay, here's the organization. Oh no, they're all dead. Oh, they got attacked. The jinn are free again, you know. So it was like very sudden. I was like, oh, okay, they're here in Pakistan suddenly. Okay, I guess it's just happening. Just move forward, you know. Anyways, so yeah, and it ends in a really interesting place. It was very interesting how they ended this episode. They get attacked by the jinn, of course, and it's her and the younger Red Dagger who are fighting them all off. And it's, you know, it's pretty good action sequences. Kamala's definitely getting better with her powers. And then the lady, I forget her name, the old leader of the jinn, the lady, she stabs the Bengal with a knife, and suddenly Kamala is transported seemingly back in time. Like, she's at the train station, back at that pivotal moment where everyone was fleeing the country to head to Pakistan. And, you know, I think we all kind of knew exactly where this was headed, where it's like, oh, okay, Kamala's going to end up being the one who created the, you know, the Trail of Stars, which is just her powers, and leading her own grandmother back to her mom, right? Like, that's what's going to end up happening. So I don't know, it, like, on one hand, this is exactly like the kind of answers I wanted, because obviously we're still not being told the whole story here, right? Like, what exactly, you know, there's still the big mystery of, like, so what was the great grandma's deal? Like, we know she was a jinn and they were a jinn, but like, did they betray her? But she had the Bengal, and you know, like, and then the grandma's the only one who believed all the crazy stories, and that's why the mom left Pakistan in the first place, is because, like, oh, grandma, you always believe these crazy fantasies, you know. So I don't know, it feels like we're still waiting on this other foot to drop, and I thought that the grandma was going to be the one to fill all this in, but now Kamala's literally back in the past, in the middle of a fight, by the way. So you know, what's happening in the real world while she's been transported to the past, I don't know. You know, is the Red Dagger kind of left on his own, or did time sort of freeze in place? You know, obviously we'll find out. And the reason this episode was interesting is that because, you know, I don't know if you know, I assume next episode we're still going to be in Pakistan, and we're still going to be, like, you know, with these new characters that they've introduced, you know, the Red Dagger and her grandma and her cousins, and, you know, and they're all, you know, everyone in this show's likable, you know. Like, I think, like, if the writers of this show have, like, one absolute strength, it's writing likable characters, because everyone they introduce, you know, they feel like they have a full personality already, you know. So that's one really great thing. But yeah, I guess how many more episodes do we even have? We're on episode 4. Is this only a 6-episode series? And if so, then we only have 2 episodes to wrap everything up. I'm assuming next episode we'll be back in Pakistan. And I guess my only thing is that, like, we spent the entirety of the show so far with her friends over in New Jersey, her friend who got accepted to college, and her other friend who just found out that she's Miss Marvel. And that's, like, you know, the only reference we got to that was like a quick like thread of text messages that her friend is not answering her. You know, her friend's all mad. So I don't know, I guess it's just like, it feels like while we got this trip over here to Pakistan and, like, plot revelations, now it feels like there's stuff over there that was developing and kind of just left to hang out this episode. So maybe next episode we'll head back to New Jersey and kind of catch up with everything happening there, because you know, it feels right now like this is the start of like a different season of the show, you know. Whereas like, hey, they still had stuff going on over there. I don't know. I think this episode, more than any of the other ones, is the one that like, it felt like they really had to hit plot points because they know where they want to end the show, and they're like, okay, we only got 6 episodes, so this is the episode where like we're just gonna throw stuff at you. Stuff has to happen real quick because we got to get to point B, you know. Anyways, I still enjoyed the episode. There's still a lot of like, you know, the vibe is still really cool, the editing, the music that's happening, seeing Pakistan, and then like, oh, okay, this is a cool looking place, you know. So I'm still really enjoying the show. I like this episode, but I could definitely tell that they were like, it felt like we're speeding through a lot, you know. Like if this were a 12 episode series or something like that, you know, it feels like this would have taken more time, you know. Like everything that happened here is at least 2 or 3 episodes worth of content, and they just like fast forwarded. Anyways, I still enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think of Miss Marvel. Let me know how you're feeling about the show so far. And I'm gonna have to look up, do we only have 2 episodes left? Because it feels like there's still like a lot of stuff that's got to happen, which I feel like is a thing that keeps happening with these Marvel shows, is that like, we only got 2 episodes left, you're gonna have to wrap this up somehow. Okay. We'll see. And yeah, Thor Love and Thunder comes out on the 7th, so we still have like a full week to go, which, you know, I don't know, tickets went on sale and I thought it was coming out sooner than it was, but no, we still got a full week to wait. But you know, I've heard great things about it so far, and I'm really excited for that. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.